really when June starts in the US, I think everybody considers it summer. A lot of the kids are out of school now, and I want to really,
Running amok
I'm,
in the streets.
I'm trying really hard not to bust out into summertime, into the song, so I will spare you. Then you know, oh, Becky's back. She's singing. So there you go. We are having
Yes, who's
summertime discussions
back,
in the
back, back again.
yeah.
Becky's back. Tell a friend. I went through a really hardcore Eminem phase, you guys.
There you
It
go.
was, yeah,
Well, we've got Rob and Keith and a bunch of others just talking about summertime and whether or not Jump
and
Cloud's going to have
snakes.
summertime swag in the comments here. And I see Stephen just showed up as well. So it is really busy. I don't know, Rob went off on something about power lines to a chicken coop and why he can't run fiber. And oh, there's Alan as well. I'm sure we have others, but they are the ones that have said hello in the chat. Oh, Stuart is singing. Ah, yeah. School's out for summer. That's a good one as well. So,
Well, in India,
thanks.
summer was actually so last season, like literally and figuratively, because it's monsoon now and summer is over. So
Yeah, I was going to say that, yes, in
y'all are
other parts of the
behind.
world, it is not summer.
Get with it.
James, thank you for welcoming me back. I appreciate that. Um, we were also, before we came on screen, talking about cats and the cat distribution system because Urvashi has fallen victim to, no, that's not the word, has
Given the
been,
opportunity, yeah.
she has been given the wonderful blessing of the cat distribution system because not everyone has the opportunity to be given the distribution system. So you're very lucky,
To be
Urvashi.
fair, I did sort of like kidnap him into my house because he was right outside. He came back like 3 or 4 times and I fed him. And
Well,
now that he's inside, he does not have any interest in going outside.
no, see, he was telling you, I am here, come get me. So
Oh, welcome.
Urvashi had a small kitty cat keep coming to her door. And what happened, Urvashi?
Don't think I'm not going to show y'all pictures. Look at them snuggling. They're so cute. So yeah, the
Yes.
second cat showed up. Now I keep telling people like, yeah, I'm just like fostering a kitten right now, but he has a name and he has a litter box and I've taken him to the vet and I have all of his like I'm gonna have his vaccination stuff on Sunday, so I guess he's my cat now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said once you got all the extra stuff, but people do that when they foster, but she named him. So he is training her to
Accept
be
accept the love.
he's training you to be his human slave. That's
I woke
wait,
up
his human uh
on Friday, butler.
yes, you're his caretaker
Basically his
now, but
assistant.
you also do he's training you to do everything he tells you to do, basically. So
Yep. I woke up the other day and like I opened my eyes and there was like cat right here. Just cat.
yes. That's the start of the hypnosis. You will
Yeah.
do what I tell
I'm
you,
blinking cat
human.
gaze.
Hmm. Are you listening, human? You're mine now. You will do what I say.
No.
It's too late.
Well, it is too
It's too
late.
late. It's too late.
No.
He got you to name him. That's and the cuteness factor and the snuggling the other cat to say,
So
see,
small.
you can't make me leave now. You
So
can't make
small.
me.
This is now the cat hour.
Or is it? All right. So glad to be back. It's good to be back with our people. And we are excited to have Chase back again. And Chase is going to talk about, what you going to do this time, Chase?
just see what we're up to in product land. So,
Yeah.
but I did want to give a quick overview of the product roadmap and review that we did. We did a slightly different format, so I'll be diving into all the other fun things.
All right. Oh, look at that. Chase, nice hairdo since I last saw you from Stuart.
I'm sure it's just gel coming on the
Kelly
side.
has joined the wrong link. This is not the cat hour. I'm sorry, Kelly.
I don't know.
That's on another link that I can share with you.
Thank you, Stuart. Stuart's another welcome back. I'm glad to be back. Definitely. Back to the normal thing. All right. It has been busy in the community this last week. Wow. So much going on. Um, I love this username, Slim Jim, has a question in security networks about PIM or PAM. And basically, they're asking some questions about,
But it's Jim or Pam. I think that's a typo.
oh, it might be, but yeah, just asking about privileged privileged access management. I know I'm skipping over the office reference. How dare I? But they're asking about privileged access management and had some questions there. So feel free to run right over and answer that. They're asking about plans to incorporate, and I know we've talked about that a little bit before, so that should be a fairly easy answer. And scripts galore. Saif has written a script about granting sudo access to users for limited commands on Macs and Linux. And Jurgen, once again, is busy talking about a PowerShell for Mac OS 15 Sequoia compatibility script to check your fleet with optional system group creation. Hello, isn't that in beta right now? That was fast. So somebody's been watching WWDC this week and hopping right on that. And oh, look, Chase has a post in product news about Jump Cloud now integrating with AWS App Fabric. So I have to take a look at that. In fact, maybe after I'm done with this, Chase, you can give a brief overview of that. We'll usually also have a section on product releases and announcements. Oh, and also, I promised Nate that we would reiterate that we have a um, roadmap, product roadmap for customers. You need to have an admin account to access the roadmap content. Urvashi, I know you had, I think, announced this last week as well, right?
Yes, and I am gonna share the link.
Yeah, I believe that's in Jump Cloud University. I will make sure that that link is in my list
I'm
of
putting in the
show notes.
chat and I'll put in the show notes.
Yeah, what's great about that is it is in Jump Cloud University, and I'm going to try to have them come on and do a walkthrough of that hopefully soon. So I think that'll be really neat to have a look at. Also, we've got several IT hour transcripts. She's been hard at work on those. One on the USB blocked on Mac OS, the Jump Cloud University enhancements, the updates to dynamic groups, and delegated auth. Oh, look at that, delegated auth with Jump Cloud ADI. So all of those and the recap of the password manager updates. Lots going on in the community. Go check it out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, all that good stuff. Chase, do you want to go into a little bit of detail about the AWS app fabric and what's going on there?
Yeah,
It's exciting.
so AWS came out with a new product, App Fabric. And so essentially, if you haven't heard about it, what it does is they have, I'd say it's 20 plus now, and they kind of keep adding. So all the different single sign-on applications, what it does is it unifies that data schema across all those different areas. And so that way you can kind of see if there's any gaps in provisioning, kind of some of those other areas. And so Jump Cloud now kind of feeds into that. And so now as you go into AWS, sign up to App Fabric, you can integrate Jump Cloud apps, and then you can start to see what those deltas look like. But this is hot off the presses, so it's not going to be included in the roadmap recap that we'll discover here shortly. But it is relatively new, so I'd love to, for folks that are playing in AWS or kind of want to test around, send me any sort of feedback that we have. We're working pretty closely with our AWS peers on that. But it's a nice little integration that popped out this week.
Very cool. It will be in the show notes with a link so that Rob can get the correct spelling of App Fabric. And, no fake abs here. They're all real. You may not be able to see them because they're practically non-existent.
I was just going to say,
they're real.
They're like well protected, but they're in there.
Yes, they're very well
and it's protected. What's on the inside that matters, right?
Absolutely. 100%. And with that, we are going to talk about the roadmap and what is going on.
Perfect. Do all the stuff. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to do a relatively quick recap on a lot of the things, because what we did this roadmap webinar was a little bit different than what we've done in the past for folks that have attended and other pieces. And so there will be a lot of review here for a lot of the IT Hour community that's come in throughout the week, because we spend a lot more time discussing what's coming up and all those elements. And so for this webinar, we spent a lot of time kind of looking back, because we got a lot of feedback from customers and saying, hey, I might attend a little bit, or I don't know if all the different areas that are happening across the platform, which is true because we're adding in a lot of stuff all the time. And so we split this webinar into two halves. The first is a little bit more of the review. So we're going to go over a lot of the different items that we even talked about, transcript review and other pieces here within the IT Hour. And then a little bit more on the roadmap facing side, and then happy to dive into all sorts of different questions, other pieces. So let's get the clicks right. So quick disclaimer, as always, right? So we're going to be talking about future forward stuff. But the best part is, as mentioned, hopefully you'll have this at the fingertips. So that way, if you ever have any questions about what the team is working on, you can now kind of see, hey, what has already been delivered? What is kind of work in progress right now that the team is actively building? And then some future state stuff in terms of where we're going to be heading. So this will give you a good sense on, hey, I submitted this feature request, or before you're about ready to kind of see if it's even on that level. And then, hopefully there's some good news tech. Right. So with that, quick platform review of kind of all the look back features. And again, I'm not going to spend too much time here because it should be old hat for a lot of folks here. But first and foremost, so we had USB blocking for macOS. So this used to be a policy, and then Apple changed kind of the framework on us. And so we got some other security elements in by introducing this feature back in, which is really nice. But essentially, throw in a USB, says, sorry, you can't do that. And it gives you a nice little error message on top of that. The next piece that a lot of the team spent some time on, and we really starting to dive deeper into, was kind of cross-password manager events. And so we were able to have all this types of feature functionality, but we wanted to make sure that there was even more visibility in terms of, hey, created a folder, deleted a folder, moved this user around, kind of all those other kind of micro events that happen at that password manager level. And so what we did is we actually added in, I believe it's like 53 or 54 different events now that are available through Directory Insights, so you can kind of see that at the password manager level, which is really great to see. The next thing about passwords in general was organizational password complexity. So here we're slowly adding in more and more pieces in terms of how you think about your holistic password approach within the organization. So here, some bigger ones for us is like, hey, it can't be commonly used, or it can't use repeated sequences or kind of other things, right? And so that's one habit that we certainly see across our user base in terms of, hey, if password 1, 2, 3, 4, well, now add an exclamation point, now let's go up to 5, kind of like all those different elements that come into that, making sure that you have more uniqueness across those passwords. And then one of my favorite features, because I think this is super helpful, is temporary elevated access. And so this allows folks to kind of go from a non-admin or kind of elevated privilege within their device to be kind of elevated for a set period of time. And then both of those pieces are tracked on the before and back end in terms of the insights, which is really nice. So that way we had a lot of folks that are saying, well, I need to have, admin access for the device to do some of those pieces. And there's this great chart that I always think about is like, you really only need admin access to like 10% of stuff, maybe, right? But you're leaving that window open the rest of the 90% where you're not actively leveraging it. So this allows organizations to kind of really hone in on the window that's actually needed to perform those duties and tasks and help just make sure that the users can, hey, if I need to do some sort of application or some sort of granting, that I'm able to do that and I have the flexibility. Next on the list is dynamic groups. So here's where we're continuing to invest a lot of how we think about group dynamics and, pun intended, right? In terms of making sure that you can have all those different pieces and that you're setting up the flows that you want to in terms of your access management. So we've added some new operators and some new attributes here. So they're listed here, but contain start with, so much more kind of general fields that you're able to capture a lot more of what's happening within your environment, and then more users and devices, because that's really where we see a lot of the access controls and where a lot of the elements that are coming through within different customers and partners that we have. And then more conditions for conditional access. And so as you start to think about those different areas across your setup, one of the nice things here, so we're showcasing is, you're now able to select by operating system. And so this is really helpful in terms of, hey, I know that I have certain amount of devices that are only Linux that do this, right? Or all my Mac devices do X. It's another nice way to think about whether you want to add in those different levels of access. And then down here, kind of you can see also support was Jump Cloud Go. And so we added Jump Cloud Go as a step-up authentication mechanism as far as a challenge. And so if you're accessing certain applications or then accessing those applications on a specific operating system, those types of pieces, then you're able to add those in, which is really nice. And then we are making some enhancements and adjustments in terms of how we think about application lifecycle management, or kind of those different pieces that are living on the device. So we had two here. One is the private application repo. So you're able to upload your own private apps into that. We're holding it Jump Cloud and we're scanning that. And then also from the App Store itself. And so if you're pulling applications in from the Microsoft App Store, you can now actually have that within your admin console and be able to select those applications. And then thinking about applications as well, as you're able to install the VPP apps on BYOD. So this was a long fettered ask, right, in terms of across multiple different use cases as we think about, hey, I want to have more control as you think about holistic device approach. But this BYOD instance was kind of always left open a little bit. So we're really happy to make sure that that is being included and you're able to take advantage of that. And then finally, systems across all the different areas. And so Ubuntu came out with the new longer term versions where we're supporting that. We actually have a ton of different folks across our Linux distributions. And so we have, I think, like 19. Like there's a lot that we manage the Linux infrastructure here at Jump Cloud. So we're excited to keep that momentum going. So now we're going to pause a little bit. So that was kind of all the look back stuff saying, hey, we have some different elements. Here's kind of making sure that you're aware of changes that we've made across the platform and you can start to leverage those today. Again, I didn't do the recap, but if you go to the full length webinar that's recorded up on our YouTube, then we actually showcase some of the different demos, and each of the product managers go through in depth and kind of describe how those can be leveraged. What does the implementation look like? You see it across the different screens in both admin and user console, those types of elements. So I encourage you folks to check that out. Again, I'm just doing the abbreviated version here because they can explain it much better than I can. But for the roadmap, where we are heading to in the future. So this is kind of looking at 2024, kind of within the next kind of quarter or so, and then a little bit more beyond. But here's kind of what you can expect. And the other element that I'll kind of pause here and say is we'll have another roadmap webinar that will come out I don't know, month-ish too, where we're still nailing out dates. But that will be much more kind of on the vision side. So we'll set up in terms of here's where we're going to truly be delivering for kind of the second half of the year, as well as into early 2025 to get you a sense of kind of what are the big rocks that the teams will be focusing on and where we'll be spending a lot more time and energy. And again, you can see all of that throughout our public roadmap. So as those plans get created and released, you'll be able to see that in real time, right? Just like you're one of us on the product management side. So on moving forward, right now we have the mobile device trust. And so we really think about adding in conditional access policies for those mobile pieces. And so here we're doing a lot more of the device tokens, implementing kind of Jump Cloud Go and some of that infrastructure, but so that way you can actually get into your SSO applications from your mobile device and making sure that that is a real seamless experience. This is great, especially for bookmark applications or other pieces that are just easier to find through the console versus independent mobile apps that you might have. The next element is, again, we're going deeper and deeper on mobile. So we have a couple different policies. Lost mode is another highly requested area where we're having additional policies and commands that we're looking to bring down into those mobile device aspects. So that way, regardless of screen size and the shape of the rectangular electronics that you're using in your day-to-day, you have some more security and accessibility around those different pieces. The next, password manager. And so earlier we talked a little bit more in terms of, hey, we want to make sure that those events are coming through and we're providing visibility at the data level. Now we're going to be spending a little bit more time at kind of the GUI layer, if you will. So making sure that we have a better refreshed desktop experience. So you have a lot more of that data available to you within that outside of the directory insights. So that way it's coming in more from kind of a dashboard perspective, but then also just a ton of different minor UI enhancements across all those different areas that the team. What's often not represented enough is we typically talk about, hey, what are the big features? What are kind of the areas and elements? But just know that there's teams and teams of folks, right, underneath all of this, making sure that the UI and the UX experience is also really seamless. And we're constantly making updates in terms of how Jump Cloud is viewed, when new functionality is being brought in, what's the best way, making sure that you have it at your fingertips while it's also not like all the way up overwhelming all the time. So this is one piece of a lot of different UI UX work that you'll see coming down the pipe. The next is Windows CSPs. And so for the configuration service provider policies that we'll have in, so we'll have some new policies to think about. So this is just stronger controls that you'll have within your Windows environment kind of fleet setup. And then finally, automatic VPP app updates. And so again, kind of rounding out that app and this kind of software management cycle, if you will, across your different devices, making sure that, hey, you have your kind of BYOD experience, but then also making sure that those are updated across the way as well. And so with that, that is the quick whirlwind recap of kind of all the things that we've set in motion kind of basically first half of the year in terms of a look back, but then also some other amazing features that the teams are already working on. And again, any questions about roadmap, other pieces, we now have it publicly. But all that to say, if you ever have specific questions or want to dive in with one of our product managers, please let us know. I'm happy to hop on the call. And so with that, I'll pause. I know that we were talking about donuts in the chat, so I'll see if there's any other questions that are coming through. But if you haven't, great. Otherwise, we'll hang on.
Well, we have had some great comments about some of the look back features that you were talking about and how much people like those. So that was good to see.
Nice.
Let's see. It was, I have to scroll back a little bit.
Going through. All right. So
yeah.
Just on the donut theme, I'll look for serious questions as well. There is a new franchise that I love, and it's called Parlor Donuts. And what they do is it's layered. So it's more like croissant donut, cronut type of thing. But that is the base, and then all the different toppings is just different frosting. It's awesome. It's super different. So highly encourage to look it up and see if there's franchise around. So the voodoo is coming down hard.
We have several good franchises here. Duck Donuts started in North Carolina, and it's on demand where you order them and they do all the toppings like right there. And so they're warm and fresh every time. They do not make them ahead. And then there's a place called Carolina Glazed Donuts that's just up the road for me, and it's all the usual stuff but made right there and everything. And then there's another locally owned place that I haven't tried yet that everybody just raves about. So we have so many donut options here. It's my kids love donuts, so it's really hard to resist buying them. Yeah, it's like the built-in excuse. Oh, my kids,
donut distribution system acting at large. You are the beneficiary of it.
There you go. Yeah. I usually like just really simple, like a chocolate bar or a chocolate twist or something like that. So just really simple. All right. So Kelly says timed admin access is so good. I use it often and it makes it a lot easier to manage.
Perfect.
So that is good. And then Brandon says it's been a saver for them as well, which I think is awesome. And then let me see. Brandon also wants all of the conditions. So that was good to hear as
So
well.
more and more is coming.
And then I had a granddad joke, which was if you have too many conditions, it'll turn into a terms and conditions. But just
But
True.
laughing myself
Quick
out.
accept. Move on. Accept all conditions.
yeah. And then let's see. Do we have any other comments on the roadmap stuff?
No, but apparently there's a place that makes NyQuil donuts, or they used to until they were told to stop. I would be
That
on board with that.
definitely sounds like a voodoo thing.
Yeah.
Sure,
I've heard
yeah,
that they
right.
mixed. Um, I've heard so many things about their.
Okay, I think I should start like collecting these links to put in the show notes because this is amazing. Amazing.
Oh yeah, so
So
many of
many
them.
links.
So does anyone have any questions about any of the things coming or any suggestions on those that are coming? We got a an internal demo on a couple of these things yesterday and what they potentially will look like. And well, I can't wait for y'all to see more soon, eventually. I can't say any
Yes.
more than that, but
I don't know. We got a lot of amazing stuff in the hopper. So it's going to be great. I'm super excited because there's going to be a great mix of things that have been highly requested as well as new stuff, which is awesome to see, right? And then it's the combination of new stuff with how we treat our existing kind of identity, device, access, and all of that, and then in kind of what supercharges all those different pieces. So it's gonna be fun.
yeah, it is going to be a lot of fun. So let's see. All right, as I was scrolling, I see there are some. Just to let you know, Chase, we do listen to speakers as well. So they are listening while they are talking about things in the chat. And they do because they'll come back and they'll comment on something that you've said while they're talking about donuts. So,
It's,
um,
it's the ultimate level of multitasking, and that you
I
can
mean,
maintain two thoughts of donut spheres and platforms. It's great. I appreciate it.
donuts and platforms. Absolutely. So, Kelly, maybe you'll have more comments once you've watched the entire webinar, which is good. I think you all know at this point where to find the feature request form and where to put those in once you have watched it and want to add to it or ask clarifying. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you saying that if we request features, JumpCloud sometimes implements them?
every
Yeah.
now and then. It's like a limited edition thing, like everybody wants the latest, whatever the sneaker fad is right now. But if it's limited edition,
It's true. So, dirty
no.
little secret, Jump Cloud product management, we actually have a giant Wheel of Fortune wheel that sends back, right? And so it's like customer request, brand idea, some investor said something, like, and you just spin it and it just all comes around that. So, but customer request has the most number of panels. So we play that every Friday, I think at 3 o'clock is, when we get the standing room. No, but as feature requests come in, so we have product board and everyone reviews it. And one of the things we do ask too is if you're able to put in any sort of use case or details or kind of how you do that. And then we do aggregate a whole bunch of them and say, hey, we've had 57 requests about this one area. Awesome. Let's start to implement that and bring it into our plans as well as kind of future forward stuff. So that's the long way of saying, please keep the feature requests coming. Be detailed if you can, how it makes your life easier, those types of things. Because then we use that internally and be like, well, voice the customer says, right? And kind of hear the outcomes this can do. And so we definitely do the one-to-many approach then.
All right. And I know everybody's putting on
George
these
shared
great.
the Dunkin' Donuts link. No, we're talking about boutique. donut places. Everybody knows Krispy Kreme. Everybody knows Dunkin'. There's Dunkin' and Krispy Kreme in India. So let's keep it focused. Let's not do the giant chains
Oh,
I pay respect to the
Stuart already got
trailblazers.
his hand slapped for that. Rob's like, no.
Oh my God, no, let's not get into cookies, you guys. Focus.
Focus on the donuts, Rob.
Also, I miss insomnia cookies so much. Y'all, India has its own like cuisine when it comes to sweets. Okay, we're really good at dairy-based sweets. But cookies, we have not figured it out. We can do biscuits like British biscuits, but
Mm.
we can't do cookies. There's just it has it's not a field that has really evolved here.
Business
Okay.
opportunity.
Kelly says voodoo makes the Homer donut. No, I had to do it.
India knows their donuts so well that South Indians even have savory donuts. I'm about to share a link to a picture. They're called vadas and they're amazing.
I've
And
never
you can eat
seen
them with
McDonald's.
coconut chutney.
I've never seen McDonald's
You,
donuts, and I hope I never do. Some of my
what?
favorite, I've never seen them at our McDonald's, and I hope I never do. But some of my favorites are when the fair is going on, and they'll have those little bitty tiny. They're more like, I mean, they're not much bigger than a donut hole, and they'll make those little bitty cinnamon sugar donuts, and they make them right there while you're standing there watching. And they have this little machine that does the little tiny donuts, and they come around and they toss them in cinnamon sugar right in front of you, and then hand you a little bag of them so they're all warm. Those are like some of my favorites. They're so good.
I can see the light in Becky's eyes, just like
I mean,
so good.
warm donuts, and
The best.
yeah, it's so good.
I also like all of the combinations that are happening right now with like the brookies, which is a brownie cookie situation, and then there was like some kind of croissant something mix that happened. There's all kinds
Oh,
of
there's
combos.
like yeah,
The
they're
car
like a croissant donut. I know they have them somewhere here, but I forget what they're called. Kelly's saying that's what they Pips does, but there's a certain word they use for them, and I can't remember what. Come on, Kelly, be my memory. Half the time she is. Um, she'll remember something I can't. There's a specific word for those croissant donuts that everybody just raves about.
Cronuts.
That's it. Cronuts.
Cronuts. That's what I was looking for. Yeah,
I've
apparently
never
that is huge. Never had one.
never had one. Oh,
Me
there's a place
neither.
up in Raleigh that does them, but Raleigh's over 30 minutes away, and Caroline Donuts is not. So, I mean, it's
Facts.
easier. All right. So, yes, Julian also said cronut in the chat.
Cronuts.
So, I think Julian knew better, better than I did. All right. So, Urvashi, is it time for the news?
It is. And there is some fun news. Oh my God, now I have 8,000 tabs open with all the donut links. I'm going to try not to look at it directly. Okay, some Wells Fargo employees got fired, you guys. Simulation of keyboard activity leads to firing of Wells Fargo employees. Last month, Wells Fargo terminated over a dozen bank employees following an investigation into claims of faking work activity on their computers. That's been going on for a while. Like people have those like mouse mover apps also. Anyway, a financial industry regulation authority search conducted by ours confirmed that the fired members of the firm's wealth and investment management division were discharged after review of allegations involving simulation of keyboard activity, creating the impression of active work. So,
Okay. Now, I have to ask this question of, are they doing keyloggers where they're forcing people to show simulation of activity by moving their mouse or doing something every 30 seconds, every minute, to where
wait, So the article says they don't know exactly what techniques were used, but several options exist.
No, it's more about
Um,
what was the metric that Wells Fargo was using that
um,
caused people to do that.
Poor management usually is like,
I mean, I'm not saying that that's necessarily good that the employees were doing that, but I have seen companies that have such restrictive policies that you can't, you have to keep moving your mouse so much that you can't even sit and read something and focus and think because you have to move your mouse so much that it's just disruptive. So, not that I'm
well,
excusing
what they're
Wells Fargo for stupid stuff, but
what they're saying in the article is that there is like they're not talking about Wells Fargo specifically, but they're talking about like in general with remote work now. There's surveillance techniques to keep track of what software is installed on the machines. So I
yeah.
guess just by looking at what apps you have, they were like, hmm.
oh, so
And
that,
maybe there were like lots of
Would be the way
documents
that
in the
I would
in the
approach it.
file share that were just jargon.
well, that begs the question of, did they fire them for using it or for having it?
I will put you in touch with the lawyers of this case, Becky, and they'll be able to
No,
answer
it's just more philosophical questions,
speculation.
right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know. They were discharged after review of allegations. I don't know. I mean, there was a review, so maybe they did like sit them down, waterboard them, and be like, give it to me straight.
or they just
I was
installed
thinking closer to the
Windows.
office space side of the house, where you're just like, well, what do you do here? And you're like, well, I've clicked a lot of things this week if you'd like to check, right? And so like it just feels like if you have to get to that level, like there's another
Mhm.
larger conversation that needs to happen. I think
Well,
the
Bob and
pseudo
Bob.
metric. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're measuring the wrong things, and therefore what gets measured gets managed. You know how that goes.
Maybe it's clicks. In this
If
case
you
it
would
is
like to check what software is on the machines of your end users, try Jump Cloud because we can get you some of that information. You
But
can,
please
right?
don't use it in that way to
Yeah,
be the
don't do that.
overlord of your employees.
Yeah, just okay. Moving on. This one, I feel like they did this kid dirty. But anyway, Turkish student creates custom AI device for cheating university exam, gets arrested. On Saturday, Turkish police arrested and detained a prospective university student who is accused of developing an elaborate scheme to use an AI and hidden devices to help him cheat on an important entrance exam. If only he had put all the time and energy into studying. Slash, they should give him a like admission anyway because he built all of this. But according to police reports, the student used a camera disguised as a shirt button connected to AI software via a router hidden in the sole of their shoe. The system worked by scanning the exam questions using the button camera and then relay the information to an unnamed AI model. The software generated the correct answers and recited them to the student through a earpiece. I think that's pretty solid. Somebody hired this kid. They don't need to go to university.
yeah, it's like some Ocean's 12 type of stuff, right?
Yeah, I know,
But
right? Wait, there's some interesting things in the chat. Kelly is saying server admin friend of mine worked at a company that got bought and they implemented one of those corporate surveillance systems. Screenshots, keyboard mouse activity, the day of the deadline for getting it installed, the entire department resigned. As you should. Best metric for employee productivity is results based. Efficient people should not be punished. I agree. If it takes you 5 minutes or 5 hours, as long as it's done. Yeah, I'm lucky that this kid got caught, Dad, for sure. Rob had a company that wanted to install that crap on his personal computer for work from home and included webcam controls. No. There are some people that got banned from online games because the corp system triggered an anti cheat system. Anyway, I hope this kid gets hired by Google, which is what I feel like will happen. Next up, we have two very contradictory headlines. Headline one: Tesla shareholders vote yes again to approve Elon Musk's $56 billion paycheck. So apparently, Delaware was like, hell no. So the shareholders were like, let's move this operation to Texas.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And then,
There's some talk about that in terms of if it had not gone through, then he would have needed to kind of have some more liquidity because that's you can equity rich but cash poor, right? And he's run into that situation. But it's interesting because then it's like, well, does SpaceX roll out kind of their Starlink system? Do they have a separate, And so it's like all these subsidiaries that he's created. So it's like, had that not happened, all those other ones, like their investors were kind of rooting for it. And so, but now that there's a big Tesla check, we'll see kind of what happens and if that redirects back into XAI and all this other stuff.
I also found another paragraph in that article that said shareholders are still likely to sue Tesla and Musk for approving a pay package of a CEO whose time is divided between several other companies, like you said, including XAI, SpaceX, and Neuralink. So Tesla and Musk have been sued twice this week, once by shareholders who claimed Musk made billions selling Tesla stock in 2021 and 2022 using insider information, and again by separate shareholders for starting XAI, a competing AI company, and diverting talent and resources to it. So, and then the next headline, ironically, or like sadly, is Apple hit with lawsuit for allegedly underpaying female employees.
Mm-hmm.
A
How many
class
people?
action lawsuit filed by two women against Apple seeks damages for 12,000 current and former female employees for allegedly underpaying them. The complaint says the tech giants systematically pay them a lower wage than their male employees over a 4-year period. The pay policy for job applicants created a pattern of lower pay for female employees. The lawsuit alleges Apple's policy or practice of collecting information about pay expectations and using that information to set starting salary has had the effect of perpetuating past pay disparities. That's a lot of P's. Perpetuating past pay disparities and paying women less than men performing substantially similar work.
And that is why people should talk about their salaries as much as
Yep.
possible.
And the last piece of news: technical community champion at JumpCloud moves to product management, fulfilling a lifelong desire to be a huge control freak.
You just wanted to play spin the wheel. I knew it. I knew it.
I did. I found out the wheel existed, and yeah. Yes, Kelly, perpetuating a pickled peck of pay disparity. But yes, friends, I'm moving to product
This is
management.
Urvishi's last IT hour.
Send off.
Chase is clapping.
I'm just
Becky is
honored to be
nodding.
a part of the last episode. That's more of it.
Yeah. No,
I'm sure I'll be back to talk about
you might be, since you're gonna be part of product, you
PM
might
things.
eventually be a part. Um,
Yes. Just make a break for it, Grandma.
so the good news is she's still a part of the company, so she's not leaving the company. She's just moving over into the product org.
Yes, my last headline was my way of saying that I am moving departments within JumpCloud, but
Yeah.
that did not catch on, so I said it explicitly. Will my father be taking my place? No, he is retired. He is retired and he makes a comeback every Halloween just to put the fear of
Special
God in a few
edition.
kids.
So there
Yeah,
you go. That's a commitment to Urvishi at least being back for Halloween. So she
that
can
I
play
would
her
be happy
father.
to do.
She can play her father.
Yes, I will do my best to cancel all meetings on Halloween, on the Halloween episode day. Be like, sorry, prior commitments.
And also, Urvashi just recently had her 1 year anniversary with Jump Cloud as well. So congratulations on that.
Thank
And
you.
this is actually where she has always wanted to be at some point over in product. and being a part of that. That's originally how she um, tried to get into Jump Cloud. And then this opened up and she came here instead. So we got her for a year. And now she's going to be helping the product team, which actually means she will still be talking to customers and community members in some shape or form. So,
From what I
yeah,
hear pretty regularly, so y'all get ready. I'm gonna be asking y'all questions about a lot of things all of the time.
yeah.
Can
So
we still have
apparently,
international film school? Yeah, I'm still in the community. We can still keep chatting about it. I haven't gotten started on it yet, Kelly, but I'm caught up on Bridgerton, so I'm working on it.
oh, and the new episodes come, rest of the new episodes come out today. So,
Yesterday, Becky
oh,
already
all
watched all of
right.
them.
I didn't,
Come
I
on.
didn't. So no
To
spoilers.
be honest,
I
I was
haven't
a
had
little
time.
underwhelmed.
No spoilers, not even reaction spoilers. Hush. Shh. Let the rest of us who were busy last night watch them this weekend.
Oh, shut up.
I forget
Yes.
that other people have families and things, because my cats just watch whatever I'm watching, or they scream at the outside cats. So yes, friends, I'm kind of enjoying these reactions though. Sounds like y'all will miss me.
Aw.
I love external validation.
But as mentioned, you'll be back. So don't you worry.
Yes, not really going anywhere. Just a little bit off to the side. A lot less sad for the speed on calorie if we can still have fifth school.
Yeah,
Who's gonna replace me? You do need to clone me. Maybe we can just do an AI deepfake from all of the past IT hours. And it, or we can create a bot or like record something that just says submit a feature request and then Becky can play it every now and then.
push play and it'll be like over she's robot. Submit a feature request. Submit a feature request. Submit a feature request. On repeat.
Your ideas are important to us. Submit a feature request.
And we'll get back
Can
to
you
you when we
imagine?
can.
Dial one. You can get
Oh,
another
James
Urban.
is saying, oh no, a dark matter Urvashi. I don't think any of us are ready for that. That's
It's a great comic
What
book,
if
though.
I'm the dark matter Urvashi and the other one is actually nice? Because I'm
How
here
many
just
cats does
screaming at
he have?
people about what
How many cats does the nice one have then?
probably has dogs, you know?
True.
It'll be Urvashi's dad. If you don't submit a feature request, I'll be very disappointed. Yes. And not even there won't be any sentences needed. It'll just be the
have you submitted yet?
how many times I have to tell you to submit a feature request. I like Brandon's comment. Your ideas are important to us. You are number 3098 in the queue. Your estimated wait time is 6 months. Please continue to hold.
This you
Roasting
can't
the
laugh.
feature request process.
You can't laugh when you do it. Please continue to hold. Your ideas are very important to us.
True.
I
You have to
know.
get the you have to get the
Reassuring.
robot voice. Yeah, the calm robot voice.
Oh my God. There are some in India that are like really excited to tell you that the person you're calling is talking to somebody else. It'd be like, the number you're trying to reach is currently busy. Please try again later. And it's like, wow, okay. Everybody relax. Rob, Rob, you figured out my nickname. A lot of people call me Urvi.
Oh, when you
Yeah.
when you explained the how it's done, he figured it out.
Rob, do you know Sanskrit or something? How are you able to figure this stuff out? How did you know that Nagashri, that Naga is snake? Now you figured out Urvi is also like its own name, but it's also short for Urvashi. Rob, are you actually Indian? Is your real name like Rob Nathan?
Did you see his comment earlier when he he mentioned something about language? It was way up there. It was saying something about Spanish.
Because I play games and Naga are common snake people. Yep, yep. I mean, same with Harry Potter, right? Like Nagini is the snake name.
Mhm.
Wait, what was the language thing? But yeah, that was a breaking
It was
news,
way
you
up there.
guys.
Yeah. And to answer James' question, we don't know yet. It may just be me and guests for a little while because it's just going to be me for a while, and whoever I can drag into assisting me. I'm hoping I'm not just a solo talking head because that's probably going to be boring. Although I can make jokes and make myself laugh. I mean,
Yay.
I have to entertain myself all the time because my children certainly don't think I'm funny. So I just say things that make me laugh, and it doesn't matter whether they laugh or not.
I mean,
That's the true
once I
element of
have like a cup, what?
What's that?
so that's the true element of happiness. As long as you're laughing,
Yeah.
they can grow up to be their
Exactly.
husband.
I mean, that's what happens when you become a parent. You just, no one considers you funny anymore. It's your family. Mom, you're not funny. Hush. Stop
Oh,
singing.
thank
No
you,
one wants to hear you
Kelly.
sing.
I mean, being embarrassed by your parents is like a rite of passage for like being alive, so
Oh yeah.
everybody has to go through it. Thank you, Kelly.
You're dumb.
I mean,
You're, you're dumb for um, a good 18 years. And then about another 5 or 10 years later, you're smart again.
yep.
So
I saw this great video that was like ways to annoy your teenager. Breathe, chew, enjoy something,
look at
laugh,
them. Yeah.
look at them,
Mhm.
tell them breakfast is ready.
Exist in public near them. Yes. That's one of the best ones.
Oh man. So yes, I mean, I was gonna say that like, I mean, I haven't figured out my sketch just yet. And if there is room in the sketch for the IT hour, then maybe I'll just crash once in a while. Surprise!
If you
I won't
do that,
actually
you know
crash,
we're
but yeah, I
gonna.
will ping you.
If you do that, then we'll just pull you on stage. You know that, right?
That's what I meant by crashing, the green room. I'm not
Hmm.
I'm never gonna be just an attendee. Let's be very clear. I'm not going from on stage to the audience. No.
Maybe just once. Maybe just to
There there was one time I had to watch it on YouTube because Crowdcast blocked IP addresses from India because they were having a security issue. So that was the one time.
Without warning.
Yep.
No warning. Just we got on stage and Urvashi couldn't get in, so that was fun.
I tried
So,
multiple devices. It was
and the
all,
and the
yeah.
FOMO was she was pinging me. The FOMO was just terrible. Poor
I can't do
Urvashi.
it. I
Yeah.
can't just watch. So
All right.
yes,
So with that, I think maybe we'll end maybe 5 minutes early and give everybody back some time. And we will hopefully see you all next week. Thanks for joining us. Chase, thanks for being a part again.
always.
And I think sometime next month, probably, I think it's the, let's see, what date is that? It is going to be probably the 19th when we release our IT trends
Mhm.
survey. Chase will be back to talk to us about that. So
Yeah.
sometime around then. So stay tuned. You will see Chase again in the not too distant future. And I guess go find some donuts this weekend since we were talking about it. I mean, go fulfill your donut dreams. And like I said in the chat, Ray's donuts are highly superior to cake donuts. So make sure you go find the yeast donuts and throw away those cake donuts because. Ugh. And with that, have a good weekend and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.